some random ass music in the background for myself.
Oh, you don't have any background music anymore. You did away with that, Nathan. You betrayed us.
I saved us because it was fucking our audio.
Which is wild to me. I never knew that.
It was weird. I went to go do a playback, and we're both like,
That's crazy.
I was like, fuck, we ruined some episodes.
Oh no. Does that mean we have like 100 episodes just like fucked up?
I don't know. I know like even like now, I think I need a new mic. I feel like it's not as crisp as it used to be.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, yeah, you always sound Chris to me. Maybe because I'm just used to you for 300 episodes now.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna see me in person and be like, oh fuck, that's what he sounds like. That's right. Get away from me, shit.
Who are you people? But we're back. We're back with another week of My Cup of Tea. We're going back and forth between tea and hyperspace, which is always fun. But this week, we're going to do tea and hyperspace, taking a break from commentaries. But we are doing a commentary. I think we should do one next week, starting us up with what we said we do. We're doing Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes in honor of the Apes return this May. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which, by the way, Nathan, that trailer in front of Dune, the IMAX trailer of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, god damn. And I finally got the new trailer this time when I went to go see it my second time. The first time, I think opening weekend, I saw both times. I just saw the regular trailer, the first trailer, the teaser. I'm just like, teaser's great, but man, the new trailer is even better for me.
Yeah, it's so good. So many good moments, but just the part where he's like, ape hunt human. That is wrong.
That is wrong. And then it's the apes together, strong, or something like that. Apes together.
I think it's like you'll die together, weak. It's like, no, strong.
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm like, okay, come on, that's so cool. It's funny because I was talking to my dad about Apes movie. It's like, in general, I was like, what movie is going to surpass Dune's like 82 million before Deadpool 3? I think Deadpool 3 is a given. But that's all the way in July. And I'm like, could Inside Out 2 do that? But animated movies are usually like decently big openings, but then crazy legs. So I think it's going to leg it out. But Inside Out 2 has a chance of, surpassing 83 million, give or take.
Not
a chance. Not a chance.
It's funny because I know like my brain is saying like it won't hit the same opening number as Godzilla versus Kong, because that was like the first time they're coming together and it's a big rumble. But I also said the same thing about Endgame.
I think what did I predict? I think Eddie, I started predicting like, no, this is going to be crazy. This is gonna be insane.
I was like, all right, we did the full crossover with Infinity War, and now we're gonna be gearing up for Endgame, and we're kind of in like a sad wrap up state. So like, yeah, it's not gonna open the same. And then
what did that make, like 250 opening weekend, something like that, or 300?
The budget.
That was. We will never ever see that again. That was the pinnacle of like pre-COVID box office, like, or that's just box office of all time, like 300, 250 million. Like, how many seats? People were going to go see that movie like at 3 a.m., like 5 a.m. Like, that was an insane event.
Yeah, event. Like, we've experienced app crashes before, but I think like the app was crashing for days when that was happening.
Yeah, and that was even without desert power. That was crazy.
Yeah, they had They had multiverse power.
Multiverse power. Fandom power.
Power. Infinity power.
There we go. That's even cooler. But yeah, that was something we'll never see. But I think this year,
Secret Wars. You think if Toby and you were on the poster?
No. People are like, oh, Hugh Jackman, I gotta go see it now. I mean, I guess.
What's happening this year?
Yeah. I guess that's the pull for Deadpool 3. But even then, it's just like it's a Deadpool movie. So I'm even predicting Deadpool 3 to be like basically close to what Deadpool 1 and 2 did. Not like it's not going to reach 200 million. I don't think so. At least that's my early prediction. I don't want to lowball Marvel, but I'm kind of lowballing Marvel after last year, so you never know. But yeah, Secret Wars. I'm like, I always predicted Secret Wars to be like, I don't know, mid 200s, around No Way Home. What did No Way Home make? That No Way Home made like.
Oh, let me check my financial transcripts real quick.
I think No Way Home. Thank you. I think No Way Home made like 250 because Force Awakens made 250. Then Endgame made like 350. So yeah, I think Secret Wars can be like 257, 260, 280. If it has the hype though, because it's crazy. It's like I can't predict a number that high post COVID. Like that would be insane. For us to get back to those early levels.
What did Free Guy make?
Great pool. I think Free Guy made at least 100 million. No.
Didn't it do good? Didn't it do pretty good?
I think it did well, right? I think 40 million, 30, 40 million opening weekend, something like that. Something regular, schmegular. Schmegular. Anyways, we're back. Let's start talking about some of these topics that we have here. First things up, Abby's crew from The Last of Us. Let me pull it up. Because I always come prepared with my bookmarks. At least I hope I do sometimes. Sometimes I just forget. And you know, we're always tracking the slow development of The Last of Us season 2 of the hit show Last of Us. Had so much fun talking about that every single time. Why is Twitter doing this? I hate desktop. There we go. Okay. Is there a way I could just? There we go. That's even better. Share. So yeah, I'm super excited. Now I wanted to use this time, Nathan, to check in with what are our predictions with has your predictions changed for The Last of Us season 2 in terms of what they have time to cover? Because last time we talked, we know season 1 ended with where part 1 ended, but like season 2 is going to be a thick game, and we're getting this full cast. Does this change anything?
I don't think so. I think, at least for me, I think they will probably tell the game the way the game told it. I think that because at least that way you have a chance of having the emotional, like, people tuning in for spoilers.
Yeah, this is full spoilers for Last of Us Part 2.
Saying goodbye to Joel and going through that grieving process and like the drive for revenge in season 2 and like breaking it into a season 3 so that when we have flashback moments with Joel, you can have Pedro again for a returning season, even though he's not presently alive.
Yeah, I fully agree. Yeah, I think whichever way they do it, Joe will be a consistent presence, and I'm very, very interested to see how Craig Mazin, the producer of the show, director of the show, I'm very curious to see how he tackles the concept of Joel in a way that makes him more, how do I describe it? Like more consistent throughout the narrative. Because in the game, he dies very early on. He dies in the prologue of the game. The first 30 minutes of the game, Joel is gone. And the whole rest of the game is Ellie's drive for revenge that, as Neil always talks about it, Neil Drunkman, the consequences of love that she developed in season 1. And throughout the game, like we see Abby's perspective, but we also see flashbacks consistently with Ellie in terms of like the museum flashbacks. I think somehow in season 2, in place of the museum flashbacks, we're going to be seeing a lot of unique flashbacks between Ellie and Joel that took place during that 4-year time span. We kind of got that again throughout Last of Us Part 2. They expertly added a lot of things as Ellie is slowly starting to tackle and realize the true depths of what happened at the hospital. She kept having nightmares. She kept thinking, like, is Joel lying to me internally? She never physically said it until she went to the hospital. It was like, tell me the truth of what happened. But leading up to that, there will be like these missions, like when they fight the bloater in Last of Us Part 2. They fight the bloater. They go to the end of this hotel area. And again, this is in that time break area, that 5-year time jump. And then they fight the bloater, and after that, they come into the main dining room, and then there's a note on the wall that said, like, we couldn't escape, or we couldn't leave. Like, we all just ended up dead anyways. It's a note from the Fireflies, and Joel kind of nonchalantly passes it off. But the concept of dying, the concept of, like, we couldn't escape this, no matter how hard we tried, sticks with Ellie, and that's was Part 2. And then that's one of the more sticking points of, like, well, it could have ended if something went right at the hospital. Now, this is me, like, thinking inside Ellie's head, and that kind of leads into Ellie going to the hospital in Utah and then confronting Joel about the truth. I think we're gonna have a lot more scenes like that. Not probably 1-for-1, maybe 1-for-1 if they. I don't think 1-for-1. I don't think we're gonna fight a bloater in. That's my early assumption. I don't think we're gonna fight a bloater in season 2.
We'll fight 2 bloaters.
Just because it took so much effort, and the way they did it in Part 1 in season 1, I mean, was a big event at the end of episode 6 or 5, one of those. 6. Anyways, all that to say, I think they're going to be using some unique flashbacks again between Joel and Ellie, and this cast. Finally breaking down this cast, we have our full Miguel. Mel, Owen, I always forget her. Nora, there we go. The black girl's name is Nora. I am familiar with 2 out of the 4 of these. The one on the left, from left to right, Danny Ramirez, I think is his name, Danny. Danny Ramirez, or I could just, be
our new Falcon.
I think this is why we pay you the big bucks. I forgot about that. Danny Ramirez. I totally forgot. About the whole Falcon Winter Soldier show in general. But yeah, he is Falcon.
You always sponge it every time.
What?
Like it's bad.
It's not memorable, Nathan.
I remember.
We remember the stockbreaker. What was her name? Power broker.
Power broker.
What were they?
I remember crying 3 times in the finale.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And the power broker was not one of them.
He cried 3 times.
He cried for different reasons.
Well, it was like the speech.
I cried at the speech. I cried at the Isaiah Bradley statue. And I cried when Bucky had to confront the old man, tell him what he did.
Oh, that was a good scene. Yeah, that was pretty good. So Danny Ramirez.
Tell me there's shit there that works for you, huh?
Yeah, you're right.
Should we watch that show?
If you want to. Nathan, how's Secret Invasion going?
Last time on.
Previously,
Kobe Smulders died. I hope that's not true. I still don't know. Actually,
I don't know. That's a great point. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
I don't know if you're fucking with me.
We don't know.
Oh, by the end of the show, you don't know?
I don't know. I do know, but I'm lying to you.
I appreciate that.
Watch the show and it'll tell you.
I should. I need to watch Echo, dude. I'm so behind.
We're supposed to do an Echo review, motherfucker.
I know. Well, we should have been covering Avatar as well. Look where the fuck I am.
Yeah. But how's Lucifer, huh?
It's fucking amazing, Evan. Let me tell you, the fucking Jerry Bruckheimer keeps fucking with me.
Good old
he always
Jerry.
ends an episode on like a cliffhanger where like you think you make progress and then a wrench gets thrown in. You're like, fuck, damn it, Jerry.
Why are you blaming Jerry Bruckheimer? He's a producer.
He's the executive producer.
But he puts his name on everything.
It's the same feeling when I like see Vince Gilligan's name at the end of an episode after something. Like, damn it, Vince.
That's different. Vince is the goat of that universe.
Like Jerry.
No, Jerry's been around since the 80s, putting his name on shit.
Well,
and it's effective. I mean,
it's Good rap sheet.
It's a good rap sheet, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Dinner Ramirez from Top Gun, of course, and as Nathan said, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
He is
So
in
we
Top
got
Gun.
that. Of course, he
I remember
knows
Falcon
Marvel
Winter
stuff.
Soldier. I didn't remember Top Gun now.
Jesus Christ. But Tati Gabrielle had been in a lot of projects that I've seen her in. She was in a lot of the CW ones specifically. Like the 100 was my first foray into seeing her. I think she was in Arrow. She's been in a lot of other TV projects that I've seen throughout the years. I can't name one specifically, but you've probably seen her in a project if you were our age, if you're one of those 90, early 2000 kids. Who watch like the CW specifically, or a lot of these teen shows that she's been on. Like she's a very famous actress in the TV realm. So I'm glad she got her due here playing Nora. I don't know the other actress. Her name is Ariella. I butchered that name probably. Ariella Barrere as Mel, and Spencer Lord as Owen. I haven't seen Spencer Lord or Ariel Barrera in a project before, but they definitely look the part for the characters. I'm excited to see what these characters, actors / characters, what they do in season 2. Because again, it depends where they want to end season 2. We already got Abby. I remember my very early prediction was that like they'll do the whole, you know how they split up Last of Us Part 2 with they go to the auditorium, she shoots
Spoilers.
The homeboy. Spoilers again, yeah.
Jess.
Again, this whole thing is spoiler. Jess. And then we cut to Abby's perspective. But we always said that wasn't going to be the case for the show. It's very difficult to split a show like that, like the game. It worked for the game because that was so effective in terms of splitting the game in half. I mean, I liked it. A lot of people who played it didn't. It was a mixed reception, at least. But I liked the whole that whole aspect of it. Very ballsy, very risky. Anyways, I just don't think that would happen for the show. I think the show would be more cutting back and forth. Will we get a whole episode about Abby? Maybe a whole episode about Ellie for sure. I think we'll still go back and forth.
Yeah, I can see them. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they did a back and forth like every other episode. Honestly, also if they wanted to, like they did in the first season, they wanted to like add new storylines, like a whole expansion on characters to fill out more seasons, because obviously this is a big cash cow for HBO, right? And if they only have one more game to work off of, I'm sure they're going to want to do as much as they can before the release of a third game.
I fully agree, man. And I think I love Last of Us Part 2. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But there's some fair criticism. I don't particularly love the Owen character in the game. I think Owen fulfills his role very well of being somebody who's the antithesis of
almost
whatever. The opposite. Antithesis. Thank you,
Professor Harris.
I'm a social studies teacher. I'm not an English teacher. Anyways.
You ever have anybody call you Professor?
No.
Would you prefer that?
Not at all.
Sounds like a doper title.
It does. A doper title with a bigger paycheck.
And a wand.
Exactly. But the Owen character for me is very mixed. He's the antithesis of Abby in terms of like, yeah, we got the revenge, but what's next? And then Abby kind of was going downhill. Meanwhile, Owen was going like, I think I need to escape. And he kind of really wasn't on board for the whole Joel thing either. He kind of came along with it just for Abby's sake. Right. And it kind of really broke him as well a little bit. And he's an important character for terms of Abby's psychology, but I don't really gel with their relationship. And Mel and Abby's relationship is very mixed at best for me. It doesn't take away from like their roles in the game. I love them. I love the way they're used, but I think they could be used a lot better in the show, or we can get a longer time with the characters. And like you said, and then what I've been saying, get more unique perspectives on these characters. I loved some of the original scenes you got between Ellie and Joel in season 1, some of the flashbacks between Ellie in like Ellie and Riley was kind of elaborated on. It followed very closely to the game, but a lot of lines were original as well that I thought added to their relationship. So I think we can definitely get that. Same thing for Nora. I think Nora is a good character, but she's kind of there to die. She's kind of there to be like to target of Ellie's vengeance. One of the first real brutal targets of Ellie's vengeance. It's a fun chase sequence. She's a solid character who was more fine with what was going on. Her and Manny on the left, they were two of the ones more okay with following through on the revenge angle, supporting Abby's revenge mission, while the two on the right were kind of like, nah, I'm good. So hopefully we get more distinguishing characteristics from these characters in the show. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. I still don't know where this season ends. I don't think they can handle 8 or maybe 7 episodes. I don't know how long the season's going to be. I don't know if they can handle at least 8 episodes covering part 2. They're just not. So, and I still don't think they're going to kill Joel in episode 2. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't know.
I think you can get a reestablishment with Joel and Ellie in the first episode. Reestablish the new conflict that Joel confides to Tommy about how he killed the whole hospital to save her. Introduce that and have that be the follow through. Reintroduce Jesse and Dina, and then episode 2 we can spend time with Abby and their crew, and that could be the whole episode where like they're trekking along, they end up separated. Abby ends up meeting with Joel and Tommy, and that could be the cliffhanger for the end of 2.
I would love to just going off of that, expanding. She again for the prologue. In like a 5-minute mission, we see Abby go off on her own, encounter some clickers, runners, etc., and then she meets Joel. It's like boom, boom, boom. I would love to see Abby and them make their way to Wisconsin, make their way to that area, like really delve deep into the relationships prior to starting the game. So that'd be a very interesting take, and then ending it on like, "Hey Joel," it's like, "Oh shit!" Like that'd be really cool.
I don't remember, who does Abby run into? Does she run into both of them in
Joel first?
Joel. I think it could be interesting if she runs into Tommy first, gets a trusting build going, and then it's like, okay, I'm meeting up with my brother. Boom, it's Joel.
Yeah, man. Oh, Caitlin Deaver as Abby is going to be so.
Oh fuck, I forgot. Oh, it's gonna be great.
So great. And again,
bits of No One Will Save You, and she's
awesome.
So good.
She's so great in that movie. And again, I kind of do what I don't care about the whole Abby. You got to build up to be super strong. I think it's very characteristic of Abby in the game. But like I said about Avatar, this is an adaptation. So I think Kaylee. I think Caitlin's going to be built, as in like she's going to work out. I think, of course. But I don't know if she's going to be as built as Abby. It worked for the game. I don't know if it'll work for the show. But whatever route they go with, I'm very confident the Abby character of the show is going to be as effective as the game.
It's funny that she has a similar look to Ellie in general. Like
she does.
We just see her, which I think could be like a good like physical representation of just like two people that like are similar but of different paths.
That's a great point. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. Yeah, she's gonna be looking a lot like Ellie physically, just off of our regular audience eyes, and they could play on that. They could play on that for the show, of course. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where they go. Again, I don't know where the show ends, or when the Joel thing happens. Mid-season, episode 3 or 4 will be very interesting. But I'm confident in Craig. I think what they added, just in terms of like episodes 5 and 6 of season 1, getting that whole Kansas City subplot. They moved the city from Pittsburgh to Kansas. We got Melissa, I forget her name, but the woman from Yellow Jackets was like this leader of the resistance in Kansas, and what that added to the season as a whole was very interesting. A lot of original material there, a new setting, new set of characters, expanding upon what's it called?
Yeah, we have whole new factions in like to explore like the wolves. Right?
So we have wolves, and then we have the Seraphites, wolves versus the Seraphites. I think that's a huge factor that's going to play. Jeffrey Wright could come back to play the leader again. of the Wolves in Seattle. And that whole aspect I want to get carried on as well, because that's a cultural conflict that is dug deep via the notes, a little bit via the dialogue, of course. Like, we know there's a conflict, we know what's going on. The characters talk about it endlessly, but the real meat of that conflict is delved into via the notes and the things you collect across the game. Yeah. So I would love for that to be delved into. I think that'll be a season 3 thing, though, because I do think they're just way too much to handle again for part 2 all to be 8 episodes. So I think this. I don't think we talked about it. Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, they got or at least Craig at least got an additional 4-year contract with HBO. We know 1 year is going to be season 2, which is next year. Maybe 2 years after that will be season 3. So that's 4 years right there. But I think season 4 is definitely in the books, with The Last of Us Part 3 definitely coming out. So whenever season 4 comes out, that'll be part 3 of the game, which I think is definitely coming. Will it be Naughty Dog's next game? Maybe not. But we'll have to wait and see. But moving on, unless you have any more comments there, Nathan.
No, I think we got it.
We have Wendell Pierce playing Perry White in Superman Legacy, or now just called Superman. James Gunn did change the title since the last time we had T. I think it was the day after we had T. But it's no longer called Superman Legacy. Still coming out July, the first week in July, or second week. But either way, the cast is finally starting to film. We got some great behind-the-scenes photos and videos from Rachel Brosnahan, David, whatever his last name is, and Corn Sweat. Corn Sweat, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Beast himself, Nicholas Hoult.
That's right.
Or the Menu himself, Nicholas Hoult.
The Menu himself.
The Menu himself. He is the Menu.
The Menu. I need you to distract Kane. Fucking
boy.
Insane meme that is.
It's hilarious. I love the Poor Things one. That's great.
What was that? Was it Poor Things I Need You?
I think it was like Bella I Need You or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Wendell Pierce. If you don't know what Wendell Pierce is, he's from he recently in the Jack Ryan TV series on Amazon Prime. Very fun TV series. Season 1 is great. Season 2 is mid. Season 3 is great. And I never watched season 4. But Wendell Pierce is a phenomenal, like, no nonsense character actor, all the way going back to The Wire. So The Wire, Jack Ryan, you've probably seen him in a lot of stuff. Just look up the name Wendell Pierce. He's amazing. I'm still sharing. I can stop sharing. Wendell Pierce is just a phenomenal character actor. Look him up. He is a perfect fit for Perry White. Again, he plays these no-nonsense, cut the bullshit characters. Just watch one episode of Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime. It's 45 minutes. You'll be like, okay, this guy is definitely going to be a great Perry White. Because he's no nonsense, but he's lovable in a no nonsense way. Like, you can't stop yourself from at least loving the guy. I think Lawrence Fishburne did a great job, but I'm excited to see what Wendell Pierce can do in the new DCU of Gods and Monsters. So that's it. Nathan, have you seen The Accountant with Ben Affleck?
No, I haven't. But they're moving forward with the sequel?
Yes, this movie came out fall 2016 and has become a cult classic in my family.
Wow.
My dad, Jalen, and I,
It's been 8 years.
We all love The Accountant. It came out in 2016 again, and it's been every year. My dad's like, "When's that sequel coming? When is Gavin coming back? Gavin O'Connor. When is he coming back to do The Accountant?"
That's interesting, because just on the outside perspective, it didn't seem like something I would have ever expected to be like, yeah,
no,
a string of movies. Let's do it.
It's so interesting. It took us by surprise. My dad and I and Jalen, we all see like we see everything that comes out in theaters. Mostly, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like action movies, we're there. And it was a Ben Affleck spy thriller 2 years after John Wick, and we're like, okay, this looks fun. A 2016 movie. Let's go see how it is. Let's go have fun with it. We're not the biggest Ben Affleck fans, but like, let's go see. I mean, yeah, I'm not falling down on the feet for Ben Affleck. I'm just saying, we're not haters either. We're just he's cool. He's good. And it's funny. This was the same year as, of course, Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
But anyways, we fell in love with it. The movie is riveting. Great relationship between him and Anna Kendrick, who I don't think is set to return yet. Maybe not. She wasn't really all too important. I don't want to go as far as say she's a damsel in distress. She's there to really like hone in Ben Affleck's character, really get to the heart of his character. But it's a very good friendship that they had. But either way, The Accountant is about a guy, an autistic character that Ben Affleck is playing, who works in, I think, what's he doing? Like taxes or some kind of like numbers, economical numbers gig. No. So I think he does taxes, some kind of like easy, low level gig.
He's an accountant.
He's an accountant, exactly, in a small town. So they help people with money and stuff like that. But by night, no.
Live by Night?
Live by Night. Also a great movie. I think that was 2016 too, was it?
No, I think that was a little after.
Early
I just know it because he directed. Did he direct The Accountant?
Gavin O'Connor?
Ben Affleck. Because Ben Affleck directed.
He Live by Night.
Yeah. What do you think I said?
I think you're talking about the one Liam Neeson movie.
Run All Night?
Run All Night. I'm thinking of Run All Night.
I saw that.
That was good. That was really good. I really liked that one. Ed Harris.
Was it Joel Kinnaman?
Joel Kinnaman. I had really fun with that one.
I keep saying, Liz, I should revisit this Liam Neeson movie I saw because I really enjoyed Nonstop when that came out.
There was a run of great Liam Neeson movies. Nonstop, the plane one, is great. I don't care what people say. Nonstop was great. Run All Night was great. And Walk Among the Tombstones. Excellent Liam Neeson movie that was post-Taken era Liam, but good shit. So watch all three of those movies. Walk Among the Tombstones, Run All Night, and Nonstop. But anyways, The Accountant, of course, he's a spy by night or spy by day. Or whenever he has the free time, he's a spy. And he works for like this AI. I don't want to get too deep into the concept of the movie, but like, yeah, he's a spy who kills a lot of people. But there's more depth into like his origins and his relationships. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's best to be unveiled throughout the movie. But there's a great third act that took me by surprise in terms of like who appears in it. And they are set to return in Accountant 2. That character is, and that actor is, and I'm floored. Again, I love Gavin O'Connor. He made my favorite sports movie of all time is Warrior, 2011's Warrior.
The Tom Hardy one?
The Tom Hardy one. I talk about it all the time.
I need to watch it.
Warrior movie. I just want to make sure I got this right. Yeah, 2011, Gavin O'Connor. It's the best. It's just the best. It's just the best. I'm sorry, Rocky. I'm sorry, 2015's Creed. I'm sorry, Moneyball. All these sports movies that are so highly praised.
Better than Southpaw?
Yes. Yes. How have you not seen Southpaw? It's Jake Gyllenhaal. Watch every Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
I do need to view more Jake Gyllenhaal as much as I like the guy.
I've seen every one of his movies.
I have like the most like random like bingo card for Jake Gyllenhaal to be like, yeah, I've seen Prisoners, Nightcrawler, Love and Other Drugs. He just curveballs over.
Wasn't that with Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie. I think it's on Netflix. Not great, actually. It's pretty mid, but I like the chemistry. Anyways,
circa 2010.
But yeah, I love The Accountant. If you're a huge spy fan, watch it. Hell, Nathan and I might watch a commentary about it.
Yeah, what's your birthday movie this year?
My birthday is coming up May 4th. If the audience does not know that, what is a birthday?
Me more Rebels to watch.
Did we do anything last year? Did we just watch Rebels? Is that what we did? What did we do last year? I don't
No.
know.
We did something. We must have did something for you.
I don't know if we did. I don't know if I had a birthday movie.
I'm gonna backtrack on the.
I know you did. What did we watch?
Yeah.
We watched ET for you, right? Was that last year?
That was a couple years ago. That was the Carson era.
Jesus.
These
times are blending in.
I know, and now I'm like, when did we do Prince of Egypt? Because that was also
That had to be last year.
Because that was also Carson era.
Carson watched that with us.
Yeah, and
Carson left early last year, right?
Yeah, so that would have been 2022 probably. Carson left like early 2023, like very early.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me backtrack the live streams too.
Yeah, see if you can. It's a useless question, but yeah, I think this year we can watch, or we'll be knee deep into the Fox era. So I wouldn't want to disrupt that. Maybe we could. I don't know.
This past year, for me anyway, we did the original Godzilla and the Shin Godzilla before -1.
That was a great birthday gift. Thank you. Those are great movies.
Thank you.
Shin Godzilla was an unforgettable experience.
You are frightened of that second form.
Disgusting, unnerving, horrifying. Even
another perfect thumbnail I got to capture at some point.
Oh no, please don't. Exorcist 3 was also a great commentary from last year.
March.
Did we watch the Star Wars movie? Did we watch the Star Wars last year? Or was it Mission Impossible? I don't know. Anyways, Nathan found it. But what were we talking about? I forget. Oh yeah, we're talking about Warrior Accountant. So watch The Accountant. That's really good. Time to get into what? You found it?
It looks like we just, at least for around your birthday, we covered the entire season 1 of Star Wars Visions.
Oh, we did do that. Yeah, that was yes. Because I think that came out May 4th, 2023.
Yeah, so May 3rd,
May 3rd we did
the season. Now we got to watch season 2.
We got to watch season. It's crazy. I've only watched those shorts like once or twice. I watched Screech's Reach a lot, but I haven't watched the other ones. And I love the studio.
Ghibli?
Not Ghibli.
Did they not do nothing? They did a short with BB-8 where we all got hyped.
Yoda. Baby Yoda. That was stupid.
I didn't see it. I'm sure it's not stupid.
It was cute. It really talked about the whole cuteness. I can't even dive deep into it.
From an animation aspect, I mean.
Yeah, it was cool. I think Alden made like 5 paragraphs about why it's so great.
I'll get him on at some point. Just let him.
He's so busy. But yeah, let's talk about some good shit here. Avatar: The Last Airbender got renewed for season 2 and season 3 at Netflix.
I was watching the announcement video.
Oh, so yeah, let's talk about that. The announcement video was very fun. They had Daniel Kim, who plays Ozai, Fire Lord Ozai, not the son. Okay, there's no other Ozai. He plays Ozai, and he kind of he was like, "I'm sorry to tell you guys this, but Netflix will not be they will not be returning for announcing a season 2 of the show." They're like, oh man.
Like he drew that out too. Like he was like with a heavy heart, I almost say.
And part of me is like, I don't think they believed it, especially the Sokka actor. He was like, oh man. Like I think people really got the job of like cussing up a storm, but I think they all knew.
I think they started to believe it just because with like how far he's taken it, like how committed to the bit he's taken it.
And it's a weird video call. I wonder, do people get on video calls to talk about things not getting renewed? I don't think so. I think they just hear about it on the trades.
I don't know if they were there for like a collective like cast reunion thing or something.
Oh, and it just came up, you think?
Or they were also just like, hey, we all have a group chat. Let's hop on.
It felt like
I have something important to say.
It felt like, guys, hop on. I have an announcement to make. But yeah, either way, they said, I would not be announcing season 2. They're like, oh, but that's because Netflix got us season 2 and season 3.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Fuck you!
Beep,
Bleep,
beep,
bleep,
beep, beep. But I'm thrilled. I recently finished Avatar season 1. I wrote a lot of thoughts about each and every episode of the show. So if you want to find what I have to say, go on my Twitter account, then search up hashtag Avatar Netflix. Because I do talk about each show in detail, at least my thoughts about each show episode in detail. And there's a lot of flaws with this show. I think it's funny. I talked about this on another podcast, Where Heartbreak Feels Good, which, by the way, we did a Oscar live stream yesterday, so check that out at Where Heartbreak Feels Good. Again, go to my Twitter account for all that kind of stuff. But I talked with Edgar about this because he also finished the show. I'm more of a fan than he is of this show, and just it's my favorite show of all time, so I have a lot to say. The anime is, and I think they did a great job with the villains of the show. I think the Ozai, Zuko, Iroh, Azula quad connections of the show was phenomenal in my part. I think the only small criticism had to do with how they adapted the Ozai, Zuko, Agni Kai thing. It's been floating around Twitter.
That's something I kind of wanted to ask you about.
Sure.
But yeah, I remember people being critical because it seems I didn't watch it because I was going to wait, but that it seems like Ozai had some sympathy in that scene. Is that true?
Not how I interpreted it, which was very funny. You can see him getting emotional, and this is the beauty of Daniel Kim, really getting into like how he interpreted that scene. My interpretation of that scene is he's emotional, but not for the reason that people thought. In terms of people were like, oh, does that mean he loves Zuko, and why does he have to do this to Zuko? They really got the character wrong. Well, if you think like that, then maybe sure. But my interpretation was like he is upset that Zuko isn't the person that he wants him to be. This has been the case, season 1 through 3 of Avatar. When Zuko, early season 3 Zuko, who gets everything he's wanted. He's Fire Prince Zuko. His father's happy. He did what he had to do. He helped defeat the Avatar in Ba Sing Se. At least according to him and Azula line. But that's when he's happiest. When he believes a lie, or maybe not so believes, the lie that Zuko did what he had to do. But when he's a kid, arguing with his father about a war council and being so sympathetic that he can't even fight him, that's why he's emotional. He's like, this kid isn't who I want him to be. And I'm pissed and I'm upset and I'm emotional about that because I want him to be as cold-blooded as I am. And he's regretting that this boy isn't who he wants to be. And he never really liked Azula either. He's not a great father, Ozai. He's a horrible person. But for me, he's a cartoony villain, the epitome of a cartoony villain. And I love that because he fits the criteria of the show. It's not great, but it's not a huge detriment to the show either. If they added more depth with him in the show, all better to it. What we got from Ozai, though, was good enough to elevate Azula and Zuko's character. He's there to support Zuko and Azula, who are much more fleshed out characters. We all know that.
That's how I always looked at Ozai in the original animation. Is like he's not very fleshed out. He's very like, I'm evil and I'm doing the thing.
Yeah, again, whenever we talk about like a minorly fleshed out but unforgettable villain, the first person that comes to mind, at least for us, Darth Sidious in 4 through 6. We know jack shit about Sidious. It doesn't matter. He elevates Vader's character. He elevates Luke's character. That's his job. That's his job as a character, to elevate the characters that we do care about.
That's the thing. That's the thing we say for Snoke as well, because it's very influential on Ben's character.
100%. 100%.
And even like hearing this like supposed criticism of like warped emotion for like I think that's an interesting aspect to explore. Like thinking to it myself, I was reminded like the cliff scene in Infinity War with Thanos and Gamora. It's like you see and understand why Thanos is emotional for doing what he has to do. Like, even Gamora says as much as like this isn't like what love should be, but this is Thanos' twisted idea of what it is. That's why him being emotional is believable and why his sacrifice actually works.
Yes, it's a twisted idea of love, which we see in a lot of great projects. We talk about in Last of Us. There's a lot of twisted idea of love, even from Joel's case. In that case, it's like it's very interesting when characters go through their own interpretations of love, because love can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different characters. And I think what Ozai wanted, going back to that, was just a different Zuko than what he got, and he can't come to terms with that, which is why he sends him away. It's one of my favorite episodes of the show. I think it was a great, because the way they embark on Zuko's character is very fascinating. They give more depth to his crew as well in the show, which is very good. My weakness for the show has to do with the protagonist. They stress by the finale. We're a family now. We've been through so much. Have you? It's 8 episodes, and you go from Water Tribe, Suki's Kyoshi Village, Omashu, and we're here. Oh, and they have a Spirit World thing, and then we're here. And I'm just like, if I can, you're not a family if you go from mission to mission. And granted, they have aspects of them being foolish kids, but it's not enough. Like, what makes this Team Avatar, at least in season 1 of the show, what makes them a family by the time they get to the Water Tribe in the north, they've been through so much. There's been so much levity in between. The pirate ship episode, the stormy episode where he has to put frogs in their mouth, the Kyoshi Village episode looks like it's boiled in oil. Like, they get kidnapped by some guys who think he's Avatar Kyoshi. He can't be the Avatar. I love that episode. And it's like they go through so much levity in the series that really makes them bond outside of just the core missions of what they have to do. So I didn't really get that whole debacle. Also, there's a big criticism that I have. Do you mind if I say this, or should I just wait? I don't know.
I defer to your judgment.
Okay. Let me see. This is a big spoiler.
What's it in regards to? Like, is it
Aang's mission?
Aang's mission?
I mean, they don't do something that happens in the show. Aang doesn't do something that happens in the anime, which I thought was a baffling decision on the writer's part. It has to do with bending. I'll just say that. Anyways, I just think
is it where he like fucks up with fire? Is it that?
No. I don't know.
You tell me.
It won't take away from your enjoyment of the show. Or it did for me because it wasn't in the show. But it's not, because it's not in the show, it's fine. But Aang doesn't do waterbend in season 1 of the show.
Hold on. Book 1 water. Aang doesn't book 1 water.
It's baffling.
He doesn't, like, not a drop.
Not a drop. And I think by the end of the season, when he does the whole Avatar water thing, water. Yeah.
Is that like, that counts? Is that what they're
I think so. I think the moon when he, at the end of season 1, the attack on the North Village, he defeats Admiral Zhao's ships by turning into that water monster. Very cool sequence. I thought it was very well done in the show. That's the only time where he's technically waterbending, but there's no episodes from episode 1 through 8 where he's waterbending or practicing waterbending. It's just not a priority. It's weird. There's a lot of different things that they do in the show that just, like, you're gonna have some difficult times doing this, because now in book 2 we want him to learn waterbending and earthbending, meeting Toph. It's like, it's a lot to do in another 8 episodes. And I think that kind of ruined my enjoyment of Aang and Katara's relationship. It's another downside of the show. I think they're going to stick to Aang and Katara being married. I don't see why not. Unfortunately, they're not doing the Zutara. People wanted them to be Zuko and Katara. I would love it. I don't think so. I grew up loving Aang and Katara. I don't mind. I still don't mind it to this day. I think it can be fleshed out a bit more. Yeah. But I don't mind it to this day. And
what season is the Secret Tunnel?
Season 1.
Season 1. Oh fuck! Wow.
And it wasn't there either.
Oh fuck!
So I think they dropped the ball on a lot of special Aang and Katara moments. Actually, the secret tunnel is in the show, but they use it in a different way. Anyways, so yeah, I wanted more Aang Katara bonding. I said this after every episode to Jalen. He's like, maybe they'll do this, maybe they'll do this. And it never happened. Katara and Sokka have a great sibling relationship. What they get from the show is really good. They elevate that a little bit. Yeah. But Aang Katara, Aang and Sokka, I just don't think it's as effective in the show. And they come across very stiff in terms of their acting performances, which is very weird because they have great chemistry in the press. I watched a lot of press for the cast. It's a very fun cast, but it's not translating to the screen as much as I hoped it would.
That always is an interesting case because, you know, I feel like because they're young kids, right? So like they're obviously like they bond over like very new age humor and stuff, and then versus we're in a very like non-technological time period that they have to embodiment like the statuses of honor and like old traditional ways and stuff. And so I can see how that could be difficult, especially for young actors to capture and then also have functioning chemistry under the guise of those mindsets. Exactly.
So it was a big letdown, and I totally agree with that. With what you said, Nathan. So it's very interesting. Hopefully they take the criticisms to heart in season 2 and kind of give us some episodes that are filler. Give us some freedom. And unfortunately for them, season 1 has the most filler episodes. Season 2 and season 3 are much more structured properly. They're structured better on a narrative level in terms of every episode having something to say about a character. My favorite episode's in season 2. Zuko Alone is my favorite episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's between Zuko Alone, Firebending Masters.
Is that the one where Zuko befriends the kid and the kid turns him away when he finds out?
Yeah. It's a great episode. Zuko Alone. And I just gotta say, Dallas sells the heck out of Zuko's transition in the finale. From a character who's so driven to a person so rejected. So I think Dallas is easily my scene stealer of season 1. Him and Iroh. Paul S. Kim? I forget his name. Paul from, Mandalorian and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. He's great as Iroh. He had one of my favorite episodes as well in the season. And Azula. Azula is my favorite character in the series, and I think putting her in season 1 was a surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. Because her competitiveness, her competitiveness with with Zuko, and her competitiveness with her own father was very effective in season 1, and really set her up more than I could ever hoped for leading into season 2. Anyways, let's move on. Final Destination 6 is happening. Nathan, finally.
Finally.
Ooh, nice. I love that. Finally, we're getting Final Destination 6, which is great. Final Destination is one of my favorite horror franchises. Like, there's Saw, there's Scream, then Saw. Because again, I haven't really watched. I don't have an affinity towards the Halloween franchise. People would say the Halloween franchise, but I only watched like the new ones and the first one.
Yeah,
definitely. So yeah, Scream, easily my favorite, and that's recent favorite for me. Scream, Saw, but Foundation might be above Saw. Yeah, I think Foundation's above Saw, because they have more consistently good movies. The only bad Foundation movie is Foundation 4, the 3D one.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's like bad. Even though I had that, that was the era of like the iPod Mini. And I had that. That was the first movie I downloaded was Foundation 4. I don't know why. I think it just came out at the right time.
On an iPod Mini.
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time. Even though there's that one weird sex scene at the pool. And I'll never forget my mom like covering my eyes when it happened. It was so embarrassing because my friend also came with me to go see that because we were Foundation fans. We were like 12 at the time. Yeah. And it was a random sex scene at the pool.
That's so weird when I was
and in 3D too, so you have like boobs in 3D.
That happened to me with Sin City 2. We saw it in 3D, and there's quite a bit happening.
A lot of sex scenes.
not explicitly sex scenes, but just like there's just That's the
Yeah.
dream. And I'm just like sitting there with my real 3D glasses in 2014. So was that 10 years ago? So I'm what, 15, 14? 14. Oh god.
That's amazing. Yeah, you got to show me the Sin City movies. I've never watched those.
Yeah, great stuff.
So yeah, I'm excited. Foundation 5 was one of the biggest surprises I've seen in a horror movie. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil the ending. But
even
I
without the
love
ending, the whole film itself is great.
really great. The bridge sequence, the movie sequence. I think the friendships developed in Foundation 5 were as close as you can get to what they had in 1 and 2.
It is wild seeing the upgrade in visual effects from the other ones to the bridge sequence in the opening.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so like captivating in terms of like or immersive is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
In terms of that bridge sequence, it was really well done. But I watched 1 and 2 and 3 all the time on TV growing up, like all the time. 1 and 2, I know all the kill scenes by heart. Like the teacher at home with the knives, like oh my god. The elevator sequence is always talked about. The elevator hangers, the highway sequence is like one of the most well-known horror moments ever.
If you ever see a log truck, do you like change lanes?
All the time. I am never sitting behind a log truck or driving behind a log truck. Never, ever, ever, ever. So I love that. The train sequence in Foundation 1, the plane one, of course, the OG is like there's some great one. Foundation 2, probably my favorite one. I love 2. In terms of like how they try to beat death and everything. The cast is great. So yeah.
I'm still a little lost on the lore when I go to explore those. I'm like, is Tony Todd death? Is he an emissary for death?
What is he? Yeah, he's still so every time I watch it, I have a different interpretation of what he is. I'm like, yeah, what is
he's not in 3 and 4.
No, but 3 was not my first, because I think I watched Sky High first. My first foray into Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's husband or wife.
I'm sure my first introduction to her was Sky High, but like she actually stayed in my brain with Scott Pilgrim.
One of my first big crushes in Sky High. Yeah. And I never saw Scott Pilgrim when it released. I saw it way later.
Well, that would have been your crush incentive, let me tell you.
When did Scott Pilgrim come out? 2011?
2010.
2010? Oh, that's close. So yeah, I probably saw that like in 2015, 16 era.
Yeah, I think 2006 was Final Destination 3.
Yeah, and then Sky High was earlier, right?
It was late 2000s, yeah.
Which is Sky High 2004? Let's see.
No, it has to be like 2006, 7.
You said no, like I was so far.
No.
2005, motherfucker.
No. No.
You know what?
Only thing for 2005 is Revenge of the Sith.
Nathan.
I want to watch.
I just found my birthday movie. Mark this fucking thing down.
We're watching Sky
High.
Let's go.
Sky High birthday. Sky High. Let me write this down. B-Day movie. Hell yes. Sky High is. Oh my god.
Where's the Sky High sequel? Goddamn.
Where is it at? Like, come on. Didn't they talk about it recently?
Did they?
Like in terms, it always comes up. It always
flashes Danielle Panabaker coming back.
Yeah. So I would love for us to see Sky High. It's one of my favorites. Like, of course, seeing it all the time growing up. But yeah, Foundation 6. What I want to talk about here, the rumors. It's filming this year, coming out next year on the anniversary of the Final Destination franchise. Let me go to Bloody Disgusting's thing. Producer Greg Perry writes on social media that Final Destination 6 day one of the movie is finally in the can. 2025 will mark the 25th anniversary of the release of the first installment. On top of that, it's getting a worldwide theatrical release in 2025 in IMAX, no less. See you next year. He also says, P.S. I know it's called Final Destination Bloodlines, very similar to Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, but this is the title we've had for 3 years, and we're keeping it ... for now.
Well,
I think the title's going to change. I don't like Bloodlines.
But inquiring off of it, does that mean we're going to have legacy children?
this goes into the rumor of the franchise. They did say they're gonna. They even tease the concept here. Let's see here. Reddick, the director, or somebody on board, his name is Reddick. He says, the concept kind of unearths a whole deep layer to the story that kind of, yes, makes it really, really interesting. There's an amazing setup, and there's going to be one wrinkle that could potentially save you all. That can potentially save you all. That you have to kind of make a moral choice about how to solve it. It's an expansion of the universe, and I'm being so careful with my words here. He says, so they're expanding the lore. They're expanding the concept of the movie, which is fine. I think 6 films deep, even though we haven't seen it in a while, they want to change it up. But the rumor was about how it's going to relate to not just people who survived an incident, but familial tracking of death. Bloodlines is in, if I have a brother, it might follow like a brother or a sister or a mother. I think it might follow the family line instead of just the people who witnessed it. I think that's the rumor. Bloodline is what I consume. I read the rumors a while ago, so I can't remember what's true and what's not.
Off of just off of like hearing, like what I would imagine it would be an instance of like people who survived long enough to have children, and that coming back around because it's like, hey, if your parents weren't supposed to survive, you shouldn't be here.
Damn, that'd be really cool.
Also, is there any survivors? I feel like there's always a comeuppance.
Remember, the girl from the first one survived into the sequel.
Right.
She got subsequently.
Evan, that is one of the most insane visual effects.
The hallway?
Yeah, where her face burns, but it's like a flat 2D.
Oh, yeah. Man, yeah, we definitely going to watch that. I know you're talking about it. That's great. So yeah, when I was reading that just now, in my mind, and it came to a moral choice, Jalen just watched Smile recently, and it kind of reminds me of what happens in Smile or It Follows, where you have the potential to give it to somebody else. Like, can you give Death, be like, hey, Death, want to track this person over here? Like, if they give them the option to take it away by making the moral choice to put this burden on somebody else, that's a concept that's been rising in horror movies recently, and I can see it happening in the 5th movie here. Or 6th movie here. So I can't wait to see that coming out next year.
Nice. That just prompts we're gonna be doing the commentaries for sure.
For sure. But let's dive into real quick. Super Mario Brothers 2 is coming out April 2026. Cool. It's the same team, same directors from the first movie. The creator of Mario confirms they are working with, the production of the Mario group is continuing to work with Illumination. The collaboration will still be there. Not much to say. I'm not the biggest Mario fan, even though I love Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. They're one of my favorite games of all time. Do you have any quick guesses of what antagonist they bring here? Wario? We're getting Wario this time?
They probably will do Wario and Waluigi because of their popularity. I can definitely see that. I imagine we're still going to get Bowser as the main antagonist. I know they're teased Yoshi, so that's going to be a big...
I forgot they teased that. Oh, wait, no. Yoshi's in the movie, right?
There are a group of Yoshis, none of which are green, so it's not our boy. But then there's a green egg of Yoshi in an end credit scene that hatches.
Oh, what color are they in the movie?
They're like pink, blue, but none of them are green.
Okay. That's cool. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Hopefully, it's better than the first one. Now that we got the setup out of the way, hopefully they can give more depth to the character. Sorry, to the characters. I know it's it's a kids movie, but like, come on, guys, like you can still give depth to Mario, Peach. Like they felt so flat in the movie. Voice acting was a surprise for me. I dug the voice acting despite all the controversy leading up to the movie.
Yeah, everybody did well.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get more depth.
Oh,
Honestly. I there, there's it's surface level, but there is like a tad bit of depth of like, Mario and Luigi trying to prove themselves as like real official like people and find their place in the world and stuff.
I want to be a real boy.
I want to be a real plumber. Uh, but all that stuff, and
Yeah, you're right.
the movie like already ends where like the whole world loves them. Both worlds love them.
We love you.
Yeah, so I don't know like what conflict you tune into next. Maybe like Peach wants to visit her family she left behind. I don't know. That seems like a whole like very intense plot. I don't know if they do.
Yeah, I don't know the whole lore. Is she related to like the other queen? Is her name Rosaria? I don't know.
Rosalina.
Yeah, Rosalina. Yeah.
I
Is she
don't.
related to them?
I don't know. I'm not super brushed up on the lore. I'm pretty sure Peach and Daisy are cousins. I think.
Okay. So yeah, we could see more new characters, for sure.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Yeah, I'll probably get Daisy in there, and then you can have a Luigi romance with Daisy.
is Luigi with Daisy? Is
I
that
think
how it
so.
works?
I think
Okay.
so.
Um, yeah, I would be such a big fan of the franchise if I had any kind of Nintendo product. I don't have a Switch
Mm.
anymore, or Jalen has the Switch, I think. So he definitely does. I don't know why I said I think. And the last Wii game I played was like the Nintendo Wii with the Wii remote.
Yeah.
That was the
It's
last Nintendo I ever had.
it's so funny. Like most of like the stylization and looks comes from like all the new age Mario of like the 3D eras and stuff. But like I'm so a big fan of like the old like 8-bit, 16-bit
Me
days
too.
of
Yeah.
side scrolling,
And I
which
remember
they honor as well, which is awesome.
exactly. I mean, I remember growing up with games like Super Mario Sunshine. When I had a babysitter back in like elementary school, I used to go home or to their house and play Super Mario Sunshine. That was like my first big foray into Mario. And then I had the Game Boy, so I played a lot of Mario games on the Game Boy. And then I played the Olympic Games, Mario Kart all the time, and of course Smash Brothers and Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 again, which were fantastic.
Yeah, it's
So yeah,
yeah, it's an interesting thing when it comes to the Mario film adaptation, because I said this about the first one. The games as is aren't super like depth driven, right? They're not like super story driven. Like it just be like, oh, Princess Peach got kidnapped. We gotta go save her. Play 32 levels. Thank you, Mario. I baked you a cake.
yeah.
That's tends to be the whole crux of it. So like they're already like more developed in the movies than like most you would expect, unless you're like playing 30 games to get tiny piece of lore again and again.
Exactly. Yeah. But for me, the Mario games, at least going from the Galaxy games, which I think are the best,
Mhm.
they're so immersive. The score is fantastic. The colors, the level design, the encounters across each level are so immersive and so fantastic. That's what really really shines a light on the series, for me at least. But yeah, let's dive into one of the big meats of the story here today. Could Spider-Man 4 ever happen? Ever happen? Raimi talked about it at a convention recently where somebody came up to him and said, is it a possibility? And for once, usually, he says, maybe, you never know, whatever. But he said, yeah, I think there's a very high possibility of that happening in the future. You never know. It was still a nonchalant convention era answer, because at cons I like to hype people up, of course.
Sure.
So I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, but you never know. The way he phrased, the way I kept reading the quote, I'm like, maybe there's a possibility, a small possibility that Sony, after the obliteration of Madam Web destroying their Sumuk universe,
Yeah.
uh,
Maybe we should use Spider-Man. Maybe we should.
maybe we should use the character that we have the rights to.
Even if you're not working with Tom, it's like maybe we should use the other guys who we actually paid to get back.
Yeah, crazy to me. And yeah, Nathan, I'll start off with you here. Do you think Spider-Man 4 could ever happen in our present comic book climate?
Yes, I think we have a better chance now more than ever. I think if you go even like 10 years back, we were probably in a space where like, hey, if an old franchise has been rebooted. We're not revisiting the old one. It's like it's the
Mhm.
new, it's the now. What's running and successful right now? Join on that. Jump on that. That typically would be the situation. Even like I forgot where my brain was going. But yeah, I think I answered the question.
Yeah. That's fair. I think where we're going now, especially what's going on with Sony, but then comic movies in general, making it an event. Spider-Man 4 would be an event. And leading up to this discussion, I did some quick background at work today over like what Spider-Man 4 was originally going to be about. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
we all know about the whole Vulture stuff like that, but I didn't know about like the whole deeper context of the storyboards and all that kind of stuff in terms of MJ not being the story. Apparently, at the time, 2010 ish, they couldn't get Kirsten, yeah. So that's why they brought in Felicia Hardy. And a lot of it's very similar to Amazing Spider-Man 1. They couldn't do Kirsten, so they had Felicia Hardy. But also in terms of Spider-Man 1, Vulture was going to be an antagonist, but he was going to be setting up Sinister Six, which goes into Sony constantly always wanting to do Sinister Six, going back to like Drew Goddard's Sinister Six that was going to be happening in 2016 that never happened. But like Vulture would be defeated early on, but then he'll be head of the Daily Bugle. He would fire,
Jameson?
J.K. Simmons, basically. Yeah. He would fire J.K. Simmons, and he'll be revealed to be John Malkovich, who's the Vulture, would have been revealed to be the father to Kirsten Dunst's MJ, which is exactly what we get in Homecoming.
Shit.
Which is very interesting.
That's interesting. That's weird too, because like you see her father in the first movie.
Yeah. So apparently in the article it says like her real father. So I don't know if there's going to be like a real father scenario.
Sure. I mean, yeah, they could obviously. Honestly, the films can get quite soap opera-y, so I could see them doing that.
And I think the quote really said like Peter goes to her house to like gives her a rose. He drops a rose. He picks it up, and then he looks up and he sees Sean Malkovich, who he knows to be the Vulture. And it's like it's like a standoff, which is exactly what we get in Homecoming, which is very funny. I just realized like that was a whole cool connection. But he gets mad, or they get into an argument because MJ is like she's not the Vulture. Apparently, she goes to California to continue her acting career, which then is why the love interest of the movie turns into Felicia Hardy's Black Cat character. And then, of course, she double crosses him at the end, but then she triple crosses Vulture at the end. And then throughout the movie, Sinister Six is including the Lizard, which is Amazing Spider-Man 1, Mysterio, which was, Far From Home, and who's the third one here? Electro, which, of course, is Spider-Man 2. Those three would have been the antagonist. Electro would have been set up in a bank heist early on.
That's interesting because I know they had Dr. Connors in 2 and 3, so that would have been like pretty like emotionally like I'm into the stakes of it because Peter has a relationship with them.
Exactly. Same here.
The Mysterio thing is interesting. I wonder how that would have gone because the opening of Spider-Man 4 was going to be a gag of a bank heist with Mysterio, which was like, surprise, it's Bruce Campbell, who is in all 3 movies as different characters, so it would all tie together. It's like, it's Quentin Beck doing shit,
which would have been such a cool reveal, such a funny, cool reveal. But yeah, I think Sam Raimi, even the article said like Sam Raimi couldn't nail the script. He couldn't nail the script. He's just a fan of the character, and I think he kind of relented when Sony was like, "We're going to be rebooting it in 2 years with Amazing Spider-Man 2, or Amazing Spider-Man 1 in 2012." Which I think Sam, having gone through the Evil Dead movies and watching a lot of Sam interviews, he's a huge fan of the character, huge fan of the work in terms of just like, he's not going to make a bullshit film for the sake of making a bullshit film, which is why he didn't want to make a Spider-Man 4 if it was going to turn out like Spider-Man 3, where he kind of like was that clash between him and Sony.
Yeah, he's very like open, like clearly respectful, because he's like from the jump. He's like, I don't have an investment in Venom. I don't really care for the character. I'm not a right plug-in for him. I'm telling you that, so like I don't mess it up.
Yeah,
and even then, he still tried, right?
He still tried and did a good job with the Peter aspect. It's just the whole Venom, what's his name?
Eddie Brock,
which was just not great.
Even then, I understand how he tried to make that work, because it was essentially like an anti-Peter Parker, full of himself, asshole.
On the page, I can see where you're going for sure.
Yeah, there's also interesting thing I've discovered in the years since is that in like original comic lore, the symbiote was never like an actual thing that like makes Peter an asshole. Like modern interpretations do. Like I think Sam probably pulled a lot of inspo from the 90s animation, which I think was a big Kickstarter for that idea.
Yeah, I realized that a couple years ago as well, which is very interesting. That aspect of him works. I think that aspect of the animated series and Spider-Man 3 works in terms of like Peter going in dark, because that's not the Peter we know.
Right.
And I like that aspect to it. But of course, Spider-Man 4, if it was ever to happen, would be looking like a lot different, right? Because now, as we hear from No Way Home, him and MJ have a kid, so the relationship is solid. At the very least, they have a kid, right?
Yeah, well, no, they didn't say that.
They have a daughter, right?
They didn't say that. No,
they didn't say that at all.
No,
what did they say?
At most, Toby just said, me and MJ have had our problems, but eventually we made it work. It is very, very open-ended.
Okay. Yeah, I must have thought.
But that said, given the age of the characters, I think it would be smart to go the direction of them having a kid and going through having a father-daughter movie of Peter preparing Mayday Parker to be the next Spider-Man.
Oh, wow, go that deep.
I think that would be wonderful. Not only like a pass the mantle, the baton story, but also like it would just be a beautiful father-daughter movie, and you don't have to end it where like a character death doesn't have to be like Toby's final stand or anything. It's not Logan you're doing here. It's Spider-Man trilogy for Toby has always been a very whimsical tale of heroics, right? So I think they would absolutely shoot for a happier ending like that.
I like it if Caitlin Deaver can be made it.
I'm gonna say no.
That's a good plug there. It sounds interesting. That would be definitely a good case of like solving the Madam Web route, where you have these three fantastic actresses who just can't be Spider-Woman for some reason. Yeah, I would love for that to be. That's a good story route. I would really like that. And they could take a play on. I haven't started reading it yet, but the Ultimate Spider-Man run started in January. I think there are 2 issues in now, or 2 or 3. That has him, an older Spider-Man, married with a family, still kicking ass. Like, come on, that's just. There's so much story potential, especially a uniqueness in the superhero genre. The closest we got to like a father-daughter thing is the end of Love and Thunder. Sure. Come on. I think that is definitely appealing and unique, because it's always usually a father-son and their fathers. It's not really going towards like father-daughter or even mother-daughter. That's even rarer. So I would love that.
I think we've said on here as well, in regards to stories like that, we've as exciting as it is to get to a new Wolverine in the MCU, I think you and I really like the idea of just going for X-23 being the main Wolverine. You can still have a Logan in universe, but like let Laura be the leading Wolverine in the.
If they have any fucking balls, they would do that. Like, especially coming off of their decision as of now, full Deadpool or Wolverine rant. Their decision as of now is to set up Hugh Jackman this year in 2024 for Deadpool and Wolverine. He will return in Secret Wars, no duh. And And then in the new MCU, we don't know.
Yeah,
But
that's
since they're spoon feeding us Hugh Jackman in our face for the next couple years now, give us a blank check, or at least how do I say it? Give us some time without Hugh by putting in Laura instead. That is definitely the move.
That's the interesting thing here, because and not gonna say anything, but from what I've heard of like the variants that they're gonna be having of Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine, they're all Hugh. It's not gonna be just like hey, this person, they're just full blown. No, every version's Hugh, because that's what the audiences want to see. Which means, whenever we do get to a new Wolverine, there's gonna be like pushback of like, oh, but we had it all with Hugh, even though the man is old. He's great, but he's old, and he can't continue forever. He already stopped, and now he's back for a quick play in the sandbox like he always wanted to, but not for like a end of days commitment.
And I think a smart way to do this, right, is my worry, slight worry, but credible worry, is that like if the new MCU post Secret Wars, whatever realm we go into there, if they when they do the X-Men focus, I don't want Logan to be there. I don't want it to be Wolverine and the X-Men, even though that's a great TV show.
Yeah.
And going to the 90s, Wolverine's a core member of the team, obviously.
Yeah.
But what I want the route of the MCU to go is we don't like saying his name, but the Joss Whedon X-Men run, which is my favorite run in terms of them and the Grant Morrison one. But like, I want a young teens going on missions, a la Harry Potter, a la just teens going on missions, having fun. And to incorporate that, instead of having Logan with them, Laura Kinney could be with the team as well, and could just be an additional member of this younger generation going on core missions, bonding together. I think that's the route I want them to go in, with the only adults being, of course, Beast, Professor X, Magneto, those core members. Storm could be a bit older as well. But like, I want a younger cast to go on adventures so we can really grow with them, like Spider-Man.
Yeah, Iceman would be a great pull in that group. Jubilee,
Bobby, Jubilee, of course, Scott and Jean. Laura could be there with them. You can do a younger Storm as well.
Do we do younger Scott and Jean?
I think so.
I feel like when I think like Cyclops and Jubilee, that's such a different age to me. I know I want to see more of a focus and development of Cyclops being like the actual team leader, like what we've gotten from Captain America with the Avengers. Have Scott have that fulfillment, not just because it's always been a big Wolverine spotlight in all the films
for some reason. Yeah, but I would love for Scott to grow to become that leader, a young adult leader. I think make him young. When I say young, they can go a little bit older than what Peter Parker was. So you can go like 17, 18, early 20s. But I just want to see them grow into the leader, grow into a healthy romance with Jean, and then complicated, of course. Yeah. Don't put Wolverine in the story. So yeah, I would love. The X-Men are such fantastic characters. And I would love that. X-Men 97 coming in real soon.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Back to
the Spider-Man. Yeah.
I think there's more of a chance than ever as well, because of the fact that not only do we have multiverse stories that we can tell different timeline stories, we can revisit existing ones, which we are clearly doing with the success of something like Secret Wars coming up. They love their Spider-Verse. So much so they want to implement it in live action. I know they do, primarily with our core Tom being the center of it, even though they again keep doing these Sony projects, which I'm pretty sure are just not money laundering, but just like holding on to the characters,
right to sanctions. Yeah.
But also the fandom of Raimi's trilogy has been so prevalent ever since they premiered. Like everybody, it's a situation where everybody who was toddlers, children so young when those were coming out, us, have grown with it and love it all the same these years later, even with all these different interpretations. The memes are never ending. They're still very popular. So many quotes, my God. And the No Way Home box office was a surefire proof to
Testament.
execs. Yeah, they're just like, hey, yeah, people are still engaged with them and they like them. I guess it's whether or not they trust that one of the Spider-Man can exist on their own. But even then, it's like, no matter what size budget you give Sam, he's gonna make it work.
Yeah, he would just shoot it in the cabin and have evil dead people pop up.
Basically,
that'd be fun. But yeah, I fully agree with that. Even so far, they're doing the Spider-Man anniversary coming out at Cinemark theaters. Is Cinemark and AMC? Is all theaters?
I saw date listings on AMC. No, like showtimes yet, but the dates were on there.
So all theaters, Cinemark, AMC, Regal, they're gonna be doing Spider-Man anniversary re-releases. Yeah. And personally, for me, I really do not care about to see Homecoming, No Way Home, or Far From Home again. I really want to see specifically Spider-Man 3, honestly, 2 and 3, because those were pivotal theater experiences for me. I remember one of the first notions of like, this is a great trailer was Spider-Man 2 trailer. Growing up, when I saw the Spider-Man 2 trailer, Peter goes in between the trucks. I still remember this. Peter goes in between the trucks, flies out into the sky, boom, Spider-Man 2. And I'm like, oh, like when I was 8 years old Evan, just super excited to see Spider-Man 2 on the big screen, because Spider-Man 1 was always fun for me, and Spider-Man 2 was just a pivotal moment in my childhood.
Somebody made an amazing edit of seeing the evolution of Sam's camera work, where like he does like that shit through the woods in Evil Dead. Or like he made like a very cheap version on like personal camera, like not film camera, where he did that. And then you have the actual Evil Dead footage where like, he's going through the door of the cabin, and then the shot of Peter swinging through the truck, and it's almost like one for one.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's great.
You said that's a video on YouTube?
Somewhere. I'll have to look it up. But that's wonderful to see. Yeah, I'm also excited to primarily check out the Raimi trilogy. I only saw Spider-Man 3 in theaters. It was my first Spider-Man movie. I saw it twice, which is great. But I never got to experience 1 or 2, especially 2. I mean, my God, the train fight in a big old auditorium. Goddamn.
Come on. Yeah.
And even then, I think I would tune in for both Amazing Spider-Mans. At least.
I think I would too. Even though last time I did that, I cried in the theater when Emma Stone died.
Well,
so that was I was so mad. I was so mad.
Tom's trilogy is so like still feels so fresh, and like I've done multiple screenings of those.
Me too.
To a nauseating degree by No Way Home.
Yeah, I think I saw each of them twice in theater. I saw Homecoming at the early screening, and then I saw it again opening weekend. And then I saw Far From Home once. I didn't really love it. So I saw Far From Home once, and then No Way Home, of course, like 2 times.
I think it's funny. I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the only one I saw once. All the other ones I saw twice, and No Way Home 10.
Made up for it.
Yeah. I definitely want to experience. I mean, hell, if we had the technology, I would go back to 2002 and experience those crowds. Because that was one of the first ever like 100 million opening weekends ever.
Yeah, take us back. But yeah, that's it for Spider-Man 4. I'm super excited at the possibility of it. I think it's a real possibility if Sony just gets their head out of their ass. That would be fun. But yeah, besides that, we can end the show. We can save the trailers for next time because I got to go here soon. But yeah, if you didn't watch the Oscars, catch our Oscar live stream we did yesterday on Where Heartbreak Feels Good. We gave a lot of our thoughts there. Quick thoughts. I'm so happy as people who watch the Godzilla films on this channel. Godzilla VFX team winning for Godzilla -1, one of the best movies of 2023. So happy because I think black and white or minus color or the original version, the effects really help with the immersiveness of that movie. Godzilla looks gorgeous. Every transformation, every visual style that go with that character is so cool.
And it's not just like they're bringing to life the same Godzilla that they've done for the last 70 years. Like this is you feel that this is its own Godzilla, like, and the VFX help tremendously with that and standing alone from the rest. Like, they first blow up his face and then you see it like regenerate back. Like the eyeball shifts back into place.
Okay.
Or like again, the immense gorgeous visuals and terror that his atomic blast now creates a full atomic detonation.
Yeah. Is the movie, even outside of Godzilla, like the effects of the movie in general, with like what they brought to screen in that final battle, all those ships, most of them were CGI. Like it was a really well done movie.
I would see, I remember watching the VFX breakdown. Like they have the crews running on the decks of the ship, and they just have like that one like little like 10 feet that they're standing on, and then they have to rebuild the whole ship behind them.
I saw that video too. People really want to check out like the VFX reel for all the nominees at the Oscars. Those are always so much fun to look at, to get a bigger picture of like what goes into all these movies. Like the Mission Impossible VFX reel for Dead Reckoning is so interesting. Like the whole train sequence, like pre VFX, then see it added. It's so cool. So like Napoleon, Mission Impossible, like it's really interesting. Godzilla, of course. So
something that's also just like really not only impressive but also just wonderful is when you realize like it's not a big VFX team. It's 35 people. They had to use up almost, I think I heard 5 terabytes of data on computers. They would like render like so much that like they had to keep like adding on CPUs more and more. But even so, team of 35 people achieved over, I think, about 7 months, and they, even with that, they allowed weekends off and like non-crunch hours, a happy team, and they delivered an Oscar-winning thing. So compare that to the big studios who are obviously having way more size VFX teams. There's no excuse to have to like crunch and rush so much.
Yeah, the Spider-Verse controversy, the Marvel in general MCU controversy, there's no freaking excuses. And so I love that the healthy narrative ends up winning the day. Hopefully it can send a positive message for the future of the VFX industry, which definitely still needs an overhaul in terms of like rights and better conditions in general. Here's hoping that happens in the future. But overall, great Oscar ceremony. I'm so happy for like Emma Stone, Godzilla, Oppenheimer, great movies. We'll be back next week or so. To see what happens. Hopefully, we have Hyperspace Hype coming up later this week. It would be great. The Acolyte account, Star Wars account, popped up on Saturday. People are like, is it going to show up at the Oscars? It never did. But by the way, movies and TV trailers need to pop up at the Oscars. It's a simple thing. It makes a lot of sense. Why doesn't it do that? But anyways, hopefully the Acolyte trailer drops this week so we can talk about it at the end of the week. That'd be very fun. Yeah. But either way, Acolyte is ramping up steam as we move forward to June. Find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9, talking all things anime, movies, TV, more Dune, Desert Power hype. By the way, like the Oscars numbers, the viewership rose like 19.4 million. Didn't reach that 20 million benchmark, but like way more than the last 4 years, which is great. Like I think this goes to show about like the Barbenheimer effect, just great movies getting awarded. And this is the same year that 2 international films that most people probably haven't seen in Zone of Interest and Anatomy of the Fall were also nominated. So like it doesn't matter what the nominees consist of. It's just like honoring the right movies, honoring as much quality as possible. And the ceremony was just fun as well. The ceremony was great. So hopefully it will rise even into next year. I know this year's going to have a lot less like big entertainment compared to 2023, but like Deadpool, Dune Part 2, Joker might be big again. So here's hoping. But again, find me on Twitter, HarrisEV9. If you want to see my Avatar thoughts again, because I can go on for hours about this, find me on Twitter. Look up Avatar Netflix under my Twitter account. But yeah, again, HarrisEV9. That's where you'll find me.
You can follow me on _TimeBlazer. I'm making a show called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Yep, playing Ben, who is on the poster.
He's on the poster, baby. I love the development of his characterization. It's very fun.
Ooh.
Gotta fucking get together. God damn it. I need you to creatively consult.
Just hit me up. I'll be there.
All right. With that being said, if you guys enjoyed this picture, hit the like button, subscribe if not already. Ring the bell so you miss future My Cup of Teas, and that being said, this is 120, by the way.
Wow. 120. Well, what a lovely number. That's crazy.
That being said, hope you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you guys next time.